I gotta tell you, man, I really enjoyed this season of Daredevil. I really did. Like most other people out there, one of the biggest things for this season for me was they took Kingpin to that level and the look that I'm used to from the comics or even cartoon series too. So it was Kingpin. He had the white suit on. He was showing his manipulation abilities, his planning, organizing crime. Fantastic. I mean, they did that in the first season. He was somebody we had to find out about. Matt had to find out about. The characters had to find out about. But in Daredevil season 2, there was one episode that showed what he was going through in jail. Then another episode showed how he was like using the Punisher and he took over everything that was going on in jail. How he used his mastermind skills and him being a prodigy got took control of the prison. So that was cool. But this season of Daredevil, you see this man's talent and how he does things, how he plans, how he can just see somebody who's troubled and kind of like sway them to his side, make them use everybody to his advantage. It was beautiful. It was done beautifully, and that was so good. I can't wait to see the next season. Now, with a show like this, you don't know if you're gonna get or how many seasons you're gonna get. So when it starts off and it's good, I'm like, oh man, I hope I get to see this character, that character. Because there was a character in the first season of Daredevil that sniped one of the police officers when they were trying to frame Matt before he became Daredevil, when he used to just wear the black outfit, which he returned to in this season. And I wasn't too upset about that. I really wasn't. I wish he was using his eskrima sticks or his baton a lot more and throwing it. And I love that stuff from Daredevil. But I'll get into that later, like the comic book accuracy of, mostly, the movement of the character and his fights. But yeah, getting back into it. It was a guy who sniped a police officer, and he had a card, an ace inside of his bag of equipment, and everybody was like, "Ooh, that was an Easter egg. That's probably Bullseye." And even I was thinking, I was like, I think Vincent knows Bullseye. And he's going to bring him in season 3 or something later down the road. Was maybe even season 2, but season 2 focused on Elektra in the hand. But no, that wasn't Bullseye. No, as far as I know, the guy in this, Agent Poindexter, that works for the FBI, is actually Bullseye in this. And it's following some of the same guidelines as Bullseye's origin story in the comics. But he was a sniper. Who's to say he wasn't some type of hitman for hire? And he got hired to do an assassination job in Hell's Kitchen, and he did it. He could have been that guy, but it doesn't seem like that's what happened here. But I really enjoy, I think his name was Wilson. His name was Wilson. I can't remember his last name, but the character who played Dex in this, a.k.a. Bullseye. Fantastic. It was really good, really good. And I like how we didn't get him set up from the beginning already being Bullseye. We seen the transformation, although he didn't have his own outfit because he started off framing Daredevil. That's happened before in the comics. But the thing about it is he kept that suit every time he went out doing his Bullseye type of stuff, But the way they introduced the character and they showed his psychological problems that he has, I enjoyed that a lot. Because in the comics, I think Bullseye's just fun. He's got an extraordinary talent, one that I really like in the comics. And he's good at fighting and using, whatever, firearms, but anything that he can use as a projectile. And it's things that people wouldn't normally use as a projectile, like a tooth from his own mouth, a toothpick, a pebble. If he has a pocket full of pearls or marbles, he's deadly. You get what I'm saying? Pencils, pens, knives, darts, whatever. He can take a bullet and he doesn't even need a gun and he's deadly with it. And I like that. It's really cool. So that's one of the reasons I like him. But at the same time, he reminds me of somebody like the Joker. He's always got this sinister smile on his face, like he's enjoying being a menace. And he's layered. In some comic stories, he's really layered. He has some layers to him. And you see, this is a person that's got a lot going on, or he's just crazy. But usually that's what they chalk it up to in comics. This person's just a psychopath. But in this, they kind of bring you into his mind a little bit. Like when he was following a woman around who used to work at a hotline to help people with suicide. And he told her, she was thinking, he's obsessed with me, he's stalking me. He had to explain himself. He was like, no, look. I wish I was like you. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to help me just like you help those people. And you're sitting there like, he knows he's terrible. He knows he can do some terrible things. And this is right after he got recruited by Kingpin. I think everything they did with Bullseye was fantastic. Other characters. This show was so good. I like when they focused on Dex. I wanted to see a little bit more. Foggy, they gave me enough. I would have took a little bit more before I got tired of him. But it worked. Maggie. Matt's mom, the nun who he knew since he was a little kid. He found out in this. The Born Again storyline, a lot of the story takes place with that story from the comic Born Again. And finding out his mom was this nun he knew all his life, and she couldn't even tell me or check up on me more. It was always when I came to you guys. But, there's a lot of things he don't know. They showed that, how postpartum depression got to her. Also, her thinking that she messed up by leaving from being a nun, and she went back to being a nun. It was done great. But his mom, the priest, oh my gosh. Him, Karen, I had enough of Karen. They did their job, because we got almost a whole episode showing some backstory with Karen. I had enough of Karen. It wasn't too much, but it was getting to that point. But she's really important in this story. Somehow they squeeze Karen into Punisher too. I'm like, oh my goodness. She's probably going to be in the second season of Punisher, probably. I don't know. But we got a lot of Karen. You can ease up on the Karen a little bit. I like the character, and I like the actress too, but we got a lot of Karen. But yeah, this show did so good that I wasn't bored when they weren't showing Matt. But, oh my goodness, to be honest with you, man, I love Matt. Give me more Matt. I'm never going to complain about that. Throw more of him at me. More Daredevil, too. Because Matt didn't even wear the outfit the whole season. He didn't. He got framed, but he didn't put it back on. There's reasons why, but you didn't get a chance to really see Daredevil as Daredevil. Now, Matt's really cool. And in the comics, he does a lot of flipping, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. There's a lot of characters that do that. I mean, he had the baton, and it had the grappling hook. It was used different. It didn't shoot out like a grappling line, but you more so had to throw one in and hook onto something. He only swung from that once in season 2. I want to see more Daredevil type of stuff from the comics. Now, they try to keep the show really grounded in reality a lot. And they do play around with us, because that fight between Bullseye and Daredevil when they first meet was fantastic. That was straight out the comics. But there's something, I'm not complaining, but it's just a critique, I guess. Daredevil, it was his senses. He's able to sense when objects are coming in, and he's fast enough to react. Just like when he caught the baton before it hit, or the billy club, I should say. I keep saying baton. Before it hit Foggy, when Bullseye threw it, he should have been catching a lot of stuff Bullseye was throwing at him. And he does that in the comics a lot. Usually Bullseye has to be really tricky and catch him off guard when he's throwing stuff. And he is dangerous from a distance. Now, over the years in the comics, Bullseye got better at fighting. He is an FBI agent, and he should be training, and he should be good at fighting too. But that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, Daredevil was getting messed up, and it was almost like nothing he could do. Now, anytime Bullseye was trying to hit somebody else with an object, he'd be intercepting that like this. Matt was just like, knocking stuff down. He could have done that. He did do that at the end. At the end, Bullseye was throwing stuff at him. He took 2 pieces of these glass tubings from a lamp, and he was blocking those. So he did do that. You can also look at it like he wasn't expecting Bullseye to be able to do things he was doing, so he was just more worried about protecting himself than actually just, he's going to get used to him. And it seems like he did get used to him. But the action is great in these series. It's really grounded. And for some grounded action, it's fantastic. Everything was just done well. I really enjoyed this season. But I have to say, Daredevil's not jumping from rooftop to rooftop. He's not doing all those acrobatic moves, because he moves like a gymnast. Like, his legs are always like tightly together when he's bending at the hip and he's flipping in the air. He does stuff like a gymnast. And we see some of that in first season, second season Defenders, but we don't see a lot. And I do want to see more of that, and because that's just the type of person I am. I'm like, get campy with the comic book stuff with me. Like, if you do this and then you just give me a little bit more comic accurate moves from Daredevil, I'm pleased. But he's a guy who doesn't have abilities and powers like Spider-Man does. He doesn't have extra, enhanced speed and strength, but he does have this extraordinary balance because of his senses, his touch, his sense of touch. And he's just so acrobatic, and he swings from that grappling line all the time. I just wanted to see a lot more of that, but we really don't get that. But the show was good. The show was good. For the things that is lacking for somebody like me, a hardcore comic fan, it's great. It's still great. It's fantastic. But I have to say, Vanessa being Kingpin's main motivation, and how Kingpin looked at Dex and he knew he's got a troubled past from his childhood. I did too. And he manipulated him. You should do this for me. And the things he did to his life to make sure Dex wants to come to him was terrible. How can you like Kingpin He has no remorse for the things he's doing. He says he's making the city better. It doesn't even look like he's doing that anymore. It looks like he's mad. He's just like, look, man, because he's into crime. He really does. He feels like, all right, I can control crime for my benefit, and then I can keep the rest of the city safe by being in control of all of it. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's terrible. But he's so good. Vincent, oh, he's so good as Kingpin. I love him. I love him in this role. Vanessa is a lot different than I thought. You know, she's learning a lot more of how he truly is, Kingpin, and she loves it. She wants to be a part of it. That's her problem. She never felt like somebody accepted her enough to make them a part of their life completely. Because it doesn't seem like she was like this. Remember the first season, she was kind of like, what is going on with him? But, you know, she was like, let me in fully. And he does that. And since he's given her that trust, she's like, I'm with you to the end. And that's a weird relationship right there, because something's wrong with that woman. If you want a man like him, something's wrong with you. Let me see. Man, I like so many things. I hope we get a season 4. I really do. Season 5 also. There's so many things they can do. They can bring back Elektra. I don't care if they bring her back. Maybe some other people are saying, how many times is she going to die? Bullseye to kill her? That's cool because it's from the comics, but they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it. It's the best of the Marvel Netflix series. I really enjoyed Jessica Jones. And I would have to say third was Luke Cage. Iron Fist season 2 was better than the first one, but with the cancellation of Iron Fist and, you know, Luke Cage, people are wondering, is Jessica Jones next? Because Daredevil gets so much acclaim from the just general public and the critics, but Jessica Jones was getting a lot of, you know, it won a Peabody Award the first season, and the second season wasn't too bad, but I like the first season more. But I don't know. I don't think them two shows are going anywhere. I think people like them enough. You know, Netflix doesn't release the ratings, but what they do is let you know it's staying around because you guys like it and people are watching it. So, can't wait. Hope we get a season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. You know, Charlie Cox is great as Matt Murdock. I love him in that role. You know, I love the binge format, but Daredevil was a show that I never felt like I got too many episodes. Even when episodes felt like filler, I couldn't wait to see more. So, I think the next season of Daredevil, I'm not going to binge it all in one day like I usually do. I'm going to watch it like one episode a day. I'm going to let it stretch over the course of like 2 weeks. I went on for a long time with this video. I guess I got stuck in my thoughts. I couldn't move fast enough. But yeah, it's fantastic. Whatever I'm missing, I just want to say that it was so many things that were on beat with just making a good show, whether it was comic accurate or not, that this was just fantastic piece of work. It really was. And a lot of this comes from the previous 2 seasons being established really well. I really liked the first season, and I kind of like loved the second season because it was more of comic book stuff with Elektra and the Hand, and Daredevil was wearing his outfit the whole time, and he was being Daredevil, the Daredevil, you know, in the outfit. It was great. So let me know what you guys think about it. Like the video if you like the video. Leave some comments. Let's discuss this. You know how it go. See you next time.